and welcome to Filling in the Gaps. I'm Darren, and this is the 2021 Steam Summer Sale video. We do these every sale, just it's a bit of fun, and me and Justin get to kind of play around with what games we would like to recommend to you guys, because we have differing opinions on what is good and what is not. I've got no script here, I'm just winging it. What you hear is just my personal knowledge of these games, my love for these titles, and why I like them, and I think that you might too. So what better way to kick off the summer sale than with a game called Summertime Madness. Summertime Madness is brand new. You may have seen we've just done a video about it. We had an interview with the lead developer, and Summertime Madness is a great game. We got in early on this one because it was part of the Humble Trove, so if you were a subscriber to Humble Choice, you have it sitting DRM free for free right now. The game is $10 and it may be going on a Steam kind of launch sale as well, so you can maybe pick it up for a little bit cheaper, I'm hoping. Again, this video is done pre-sale, so all of these are kind of speculation. Summertime Madness is a game about a painter who makes a deal with the devil to roam around inside his paintings. It's beautiful inside there. There's some puzzles. It's a first-person kind of puzzle game. It's beautiful. It's got great music. It's made by one guy. Go and support your indie developers, please. The next game, speaking of kind of walking sim puzzle games, I just recently played Deliver Us the Moon. Deliver Us the Moon is, I don't know, man. It's boring, but it's a good boring. There's no monsters. There's really no urgency other than maybe your oxygen tank running out, but it's got really good graphics. It's crisp. You get to feel like an astronaut walking around the moon, driving little like moon rover vehicles, solving puzzles, piecing together a story. It's a bit like Tacoma in a sense, where you get to kind of watch holographic projections of past events and kind of piece everything together. It's a real slow burn. It's not kind of mind intensive. I'm having a great time with it, and I want to recommend it to you guys because it's just a beautiful game. Okay, so the historic low for Deliver Us the Moon is $11.25. Regular price is $25. So pick it up for whatever you see fit. If you want something on the weirder side, then Californium is a game that I played recently, and wow, that game is weird, man. That game is weird. It is a game kind of like maybe Slaughterhouse 5 the game. You play this guy who's kind of unstuck in time. You go through different events. Basically, it's a game where you have to go around and you find anomalies around you, and then you click on them and it kind of makes your reality warp a little bit, and as you warp more of the reality, then you'll move through the stages of your life. So you go through kind of into the future, onto Mars, alien society. It's weird, but I had a lot of fun doing it. It was a really good game. The historic low for Californium is a whopping 60 cents. It usually goes for about $7, so if you can pick it up somewhere in between that massive range, then go for it. Okay, so the next three games I've got, I played Myst again. I haven't played Myst in years, and after I played it, I was like, wow, I really want to play more of these kinds of games again. I miss this genre so much. And so I played a game called Zoff. Zoff is a Myst-inspired puzzle game, and while there is not really much story there, it's one of those beautiful, kind of fantastical locations like that just deny the laws of physics. It's a beautiful game. The puzzles are really tough in some situations. You really got to think outside the box. Zoff is great. It's made by a single developer. Go and check it out. So the historic low for Zoff is about $7.50. That's about half price because it usually goes full sale for about $15. Half price off is very fair. I got a good few hours out of this game. Another Myst-inspired puzzle game that I really enjoyed recently was ASA A Space Adventure. Unfortunately, the developer has kind of shut up shop because well, the game is old, you know. He made a whole series of these games, and he didn't make enough money, and he's gone on to do other things. The game works fine. He's not giving up on it. He's not really updating it anymore, but it works fine. It's a bananas, bonkers puzzle game. Good story, Myst style story. It's one of those like kind of hypercard, picture to picture to picture movement puzzle games, but you do have a 360 roam with the camera. If you like Myst, you'll probably really get a kick out of ASA, and it'll scratch that Myst itch. You get to visit fantastical worlds. You've got a lot of these kind of puzzles where you're like, what the heck does this thing do? I don't know. Let's try and power it up and get it working. Okay, I've got it powered up and working. What do I do with it? So the historic low for ASA is $1.99. It generally goes for about $10. The last Myst-like game is actually brought to you by the makers of Myst. Cyan released a game called Obduction. I'm really surprised I haven't spoken about Obduction before and recommended this game, because Obduction was a kickstarted Cyan project, and it does capture that magic. It's got wonderful environments, it's got hard puzzles, it's got all the hallmarks of a great Cyan game. Unfortunately, it just isn't Myst or Riven. It's still good, and the historic low for Obduction is about $7.50. It does go for $30, so that's a good. If you can get it around the $10 price range, you're doing well. Obduction is great. If you're a Cyan fan, there's really no reason not to own this game. Okay, so now we're going to get into some of my favorites. We're going to get into those damn indie titles. I'm going to start off with a game called Photographs. Photographs is a pixel art game that basically all you got to do is solve the puzzle, look at the pictures, click on things, and then reveal a story. There's a bunch of different stories for a bunch of different characters, and they're dark. Some of these stories are really dark, much darker than what I was expecting from the cutesy kind of animations and stuff. I liked it. It was stories about life without being preachy, and I appreciated that. I really enjoyed it. The historic low for Photographs, it's gone for about $1.20. It does regularly go for $11, so that's a whopping 90% discount, which is probably what I picked it up for, to be honest, because I'm cheap. Next on my indie titles is a game called Little Inferno. I had a lot of fun playing this. It is a stress toy where you get items and then you toss them into a fire and watch them burn. And the more stuff that you burn, the more points you get, and then the more items you can buy, and then you can burn them. The more expensive the item, the more points you get. It's a beautiful little circle of fire. Little Inferno has gone for $2.50 in the past as its historic low, but it regularly goes for $14. I don't know. 14 is a bit overpriced to me. That's a pretty heavy price tag for this game. I would be more comfortable around the $5 range for this game. Okay, next up is, again, a new title. Someone gave me this as a gift, and I thank them very much for that. It's called Landlord of the Woods. The historic low is 79 cents. It goes for about $1. Price is not everything. This game and the Rusty Lake series are dirt cheap year round. When they go on sale, that's just a bonus. Landlord of the Woods is a Rusty Lake style puzzle game, very similar in animation style and puzzles that you solve. It is weird. I can't talk too much about it because it's a fairly short game. You'll probably complete this in an hour or less, and so that's why it's got the dollar price tag. Great value for money. If you like the Rusty Lake games, check out Landlord of the Woods. Okay, so I've been playing a lot. Again, I was gifted this game. They said to me, hey Darren, play this. It's a game that I've been looking at for a long time, but I was like, I don't like roguelikes and not a big fan of the art style. Man, I've plowed a lot of hours into The Binding of Isaac. If you've not played The Binding of Isaac and you're like me, where you're like, I don't really like roguelike games and permadeath, try and like them. I would, yeah. If it was up to me, I would never have bought this game. It took the kindness of someone to gift me this game and say, alright, play it. And then I was like, oh, well, I've got to play it now. And so I loaded it up, and I died a bunch of times, but I had a lot of fun playing it. It's something short. You play it and you die. Okay, so you spend 10 minutes on a run. You have a lot of fun. It's dark. There's tons, thousands of power-ups. Literally a gajillion ways that this game will play out. And there's multiple endings. There's tons of bad guys and tons of bosses that you've got to defeat. And it's not too taxing, it's not too difficult. But yeah, it's like playing the guitar. It's something that is easy to pick up and learn the basics, but very hard to master. So the historic low for Binding of Isaac is an incredible 50 cents. I don't know who was giving it away for 50 cents, because it usually goes for 14 bucks. Even at full price, if you're going by dollar to hour ratio like I usually do, I've spent more than 14 hours in this game. It's well worth the price. There are a bunch of DLCs that you can purchase for the game too, so that will eventually, or inevitably if you get into the game, bump up the price. But yeah, 50 cents, you really can't go wrong. Seriously, if you can pick up Binding of Isaac for cheap enough for your wallet, give it a shot. You probably won't be disappointed. It's a lot of fun. It's addictive, strangely addictive. Never thought death would be so much fun. Okay, next up on the indie list, Beast Battle Simulator. We have covered this before on the Buyer's Remorse podcast. It's a game I keep coming back to. It's something fun to fire up for 10 minutes. It's so much fun. Basically, power up a bunch of beasts, strap lasers to their faces, and make them fight to the death in an arena. It doesn't get much simpler. It's gory, it's crazy, it's very hands-off simulator style game. I really enjoy it. It does have a price tag of 10 bucks usually. I definitely did not pay that for this game. I waited until it came down to the historic low of $1.99 and got it at a whopping 80% discount. So who knows what the Steam summer sale will put this at. But do yourself a favor and pick it up. If you like the look of the trailer, then you'll probably like the game, because it is what you see is what you get. Another game that we've discussed on the podcast, not Buyer's Remorse, we discussed this one on the Filling in the Gaps podcast, was Minit. I really like Minit. Minit is a game that takes 1 minute to play, and then you die. So it's a roguelike, but you get to keep your items, and you get to keep your kind of world knowledge and experience. So if you've opened a door, it will stay open. If you've grabbed an item, it'll be waiting for you outside. It's not a permadeath situation where you get reset back to the entire beginning. You just die and you've got to do that section again. And each section is more or less just a puzzle that you've got to solve in how to get to the next kind of area. It's beautiful. It's all black and white. There's really not much to the graphics. It's got great sound, great movement. It's really reminiscent of old school games. If you've got a nostalgia button to push, this does it well. It's a really cute, kind of fun puzzle roguelike. There you go. The historic low of Minit is $3.99. It does go for about 10 bucks regularly. And if you own the itch bundle for racial equality, it's sitting there for free and you just haven't noticed yet. So there you go. Okay, Donut County. Donut County is a game I thought was well overpriced. Donut County goes for $13. It is a very short game, so I was the kind of R/patient gamer on this one, and I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited. I waited for such a long time for this game to come down in price. The historic low is about $3.90. I got it for about that. I think I picked it up for about $5. $5 to me is a good price for this game because it is not a 5-hour game. But it is a replayable game, especially if you've got kids. My kid loves just playing this game over and over and over again. So she's got way more value than I ever did out of the game. But the $5 that I paid for it, that I got out of it, I really enjoyed. It's a very kind of casual puzzle game. Funny, well written. It's mostly all in the writing, to be honest. The graphics are good. The gameplay is smooth. Yeah, it was a really fun game. I loved every minute of it. But yeah, definitely recommend this one on a sale. Hence why it's on the list. Okay, we're getting towards the end of the indies. We've got 2 more to go. The next one is... we've got 3 more to go, actually. The next one is No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. No One Lives Under the Lighthouse is a pretty awesome Lovecraftian horror game which has kind of the PlayStation 2 aesthetic style graphics. It is on this list. I think I've talked about this before in one of my sales videos. The reason it's going back on is because the developer has basically listened to all the community criticisms and, and support too, and is doing like another relaunch of the game. They've polished up a ton of stuff, or at least they're promising to polish up a ton of stuff, remove content that we didn't like, add content that we wanted, and make the game an overall better experience just for everyone. Especially, I know what they're talking about is probably the ending. No spoilers, but the ending was a bit before, and a lot of people did complain. And so the developers said, you know what, I'm gonna listen, and I'm not too proud that I'm not gonna change anything. So he's went ahead and done it. It's dropping very, very soon. If not, by the time this video comes out, the new content will be available. And that's why I'm re-recommending this game, because I loved it. I loved the style, I loved the moodiness of it, I love the little kind of mini games in between the puzzles. It's a great game, and it's yeah, that art style, wow. No One Lives Under the Lighthouse is gone for a historic low of $3.50, but it only goes for $7 regularly, so whatever you can pick it up for in between that range that fits your kind of budget, go for it. Again, look at the trailer. If you like those graphics and you like that style, this game's for you. It is 2021, but I'm going to recommend a game called Space Hole 2020, because there isn't a Space Hole 2021, although I wish there would be. I buy every year this guy comes out with a game. I've bought Space Hole 2016, 2018, and 2020, and none of them have disappointed me. Come for the game, stay for the soundtrack. The guy always has like I don't know, maybe it's just me. I just love the music that he acquires the rights to put in his games. Fantastic music. The puzzles are psychedelic, mind-boggling weirdness where you don't even know what you're doing half the time. I've never finished a Space Hole game. None of them. And 2020 is no exception to the rule. But I love going in and just being a part of this psychedelic bananas world for an hour or so. It's cheap. It's only $3 at base. It goes for about half off, $1.50. It's something different. It's something unique. And, hey, again, can't say anything more than support your indie devs. And speaking of indie devs, this is the last one. Again, this game was gifted to me. Because it's not a game that I would normally play, because it does require a controller, although you can play it with a keyboard and mouse, but it's virtually impossible to do some of the moves. So this is, I would say, don't buy this if you're a keyboard and mouse purist like I am. But this game really made me kind of like, oh man, should I buy a controller? Because I love this game. Floor Kids. I love hip hop. I always have. I love all genres of music, really. Floor Kids has got some great beats, and basically you just dance. You just dance in different locations. You get kind of points that you can use to buy cards. Those cards are special moves that you can pull off. Once you acquire enough points as well, you can buy new dancers who have different techniques, and they've all got stats of what they're good at and what they're bad at, and you just basically dance through a bunch of levels. And it's such a cool game. It's such a good game. And yeah, if you are a controller person and if you like kind of like Parappa the Rapper, where, I mean, this is Parappa the Rapper, kind of, but you don't have to conform to any button, like timed stuff. It's just, you go with the flow, you do what you want, you freestyle it, you're in charge, and that's great. I really enjoyed this game. I just don't know if I'm gonna buy a controller and turn to the dark side. Floor Kids goes for $18, full price. It has gone for about $6.70. You decide what it's worth to you. It's the type of game that you can probably get multiple playthroughs of, and friends will want to come over and try out. And it looks like one of those games that would be fun to play with other people around. Alright, so this gets us into the last 4 picks. The last 4 picks are kind of the big budget AAA titles. and they get to go at the end because they don't need my promotion or my cheerleading. They've got all the support that they already need. I'm just throwing in to say these are the ones that I enjoyed. And of course, the last one is one that I don't own, but I am looking to purchase. So, despite all the shenanigans that 505 Games have pulled with their epic exclusives and the humble bundle disaster, I'm still recommending Control. Remedy Games, they gave us Max Payne. You know, I mean, I don't like the publisher, but I love the developer. But the fact remains that Control is fantastic. Control goes for $40 at base price. That is with all DLC. There's 2 DLCs that go with it, but it has gone for massive sales. It's gone for about $16.70 in the past for the full game plus DLC. If you want to play a game where you are basically living an X-Files episode, Control is very lore rich, and there's tons of things to read. There's tons of little side quests. There's tons of people to talk to. There's tons of weird stuff going on. Like, I love the inane stuff like, oh, here's a refrigerator. If you look at it, you have to keep looking at it. Or someone has to keep looking at it, because if you don't look at it, you will die. It's stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. Or, oh, there's a mannequin that replicates and makes duplicates of itself. You have to go and shut it down. It doesn't do anything sinister. It looks sinister as hell, but it's actually quite harmless. Tons of lore, tons of power-ups, cool guns, cool enemies. It is a bit grindy, yes. It does get a bit hard in points as well. But Control is just, it's taken Quantum Break and Alan Wake and taken the best parts of both of those, and they just learned from their experiences and made such a fantastic game. My next pick is a game that was on Steam and then was not on Steam and now is back on Steam, and I worry that it might not be on Steam again for the same reasons it was removed before. We're talking about Ghostbusters the video game. Ghostbusters the video game is fantastic. It's such a great game. It's basically Ghostbusters 3. It's written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. How much cooler is that? It's a game written by the guys that made the movies. And while that all doesn't always work, it's worked really well. And they've got the whole band back together. Everyone is back. So you've got Winston, you've got Peter Venkman, you've got Ray, you've got Egon, Janine. The only guy they didn't get back was Tully. And so you are like the 5th Ghostbuster in the game. And it's a comedy, it's great. The proton packs feel really real. You really feel like you're wrangling ghosts. Regular price is $25, and it's gone for about just over $6. That's a great price. That is a great price for this game. Yeah, pick it up. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, stop listening and go and buy this game right now and play it, because it is Ghostbusters 3, and you will love it. Alright, so next up is Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 is a game that I played on the EA Play Pass thingy bob that you get through Steam. It was a lot of fun. It's a parkour kind of first-person action shooter game. You can play as a human, and you can play as a Titan, which is basically a giant robot mech warrior style thing that can just annihilate stuff. And yeah, it's a decent campaign. I think a lot of the play is from the multiplayer. I'm not a multiplayer person. The campaign was great though. I loved it. It was solid, absolutely solid. A little bit it's a little bit simple, a little bit kind of on the rails, linear, but I'm not always out for a 360 Skyrim do whatever you want experience. You know, sometimes I like to just be pointed in the right direction and just be okay, A to B, go. And what you see is what you get with this game. Yeah, it's great. I had a lot of fun with it. It goes for $30. It has gone for $3. Definitely, it has potential for being on a huge sale. So pick it up if you can. And as is tradition with my sales videos, I like to include a game that I know I'm going to pick up at some point, and I'm just waiting for that sweet sale. Little Nightmares 2. It goes for $30. The historic low is $24, which was just recently actually. It was on sale just a couple of weeks ago. I did not pull the trigger because it's not low enough for me yet, and I'm still waiting to see when the inevitable DLC announcement gets made. I am not getting sucked back into that trap that Bandai Namco lured me into last time, where it was cheaper to buy, just to be patient and wait for the game of the year or whatever it was called, where it was like the game plus all the DLCs that went on sale constantly for way lower than the price that the base game went for when I bought it. The base game never went on sale, the DLC never went on sale, or if it did, it was negligible. They plowed all of their time and attention into the DLC Game of the Year one, and that really hurt me. I love this game. I love it. I love the world. It's dark, it's creepy, it's scary, and it's got puzzles, and it's got lovable, great characters. I loved Little Nightmares 1, and I loved the DLC, the Depths, and whatever else it was with the runaway kid. So much great story, so much great lore that was added in. But man, they screwed all of us who bought in early, all the early adopters. Well, you know me, if you listen to this podcast, I'm cheap as chips. And this game, I was so psyched about it. I got on the hype train. I was like, I'm buying into this early. And what a mistake that was. I got burned so bad. And I ended up paying, full price almost twice for this game. The way that they managed to kind of do everyone out of their cash. So I'm waiting on this one. I'm waiting for a huge sale. Oh yeah, and to add insult to injury, they gave away Little Nightmares for free recently as well. So yeah, I got so burned. Maybe they'll be giving away Little Nightmares 2 for free 4 years down the line, if I'm just patient enough. Who knows? But if it drops to about, I'm waiting for a 66% sale, 60 to 70%. If it drops to $10, I'm in, because it's only about a 5-hour game, I think. Again, I love the developer, I hate the publisher. So there's my Steam Summer Sale picks. Hopefully, all of these go on sale for a good price that is, kind to your wallets. I'm really sorry about the intro video that is at the beginning of this, because I made it basically, I use Movavi, which actually I would recommend as well. For someone like me, who is a very noob video editor, Movavi is so easy to use and it's great. But it doesn't have an animation. It does have an animation, but it doesn't have an ability to make your own badges or title or callouts, and so you can't just take a picture of something and then animate that. So what you see at the beginning of this video is me like hand animating frame by frame and replacing a picture and replacing a picture and replacing a picture and re-angling a picture for each frame, and I got a bit lazy towards the end, so I apologize for the potato quality of that Steam Summer Sale meme. It's my first and last, I promise.